Hey guys, welcome back. In today's video, we're going to rank the 10 best rides at Islands of Adventure. If you're new here, on this channel we talk about all things Halloween, Harry Potter, and theme parks. If that's something you're interested in, go ahead and hit that subscribe button.
If you've seen our videos, you know our favorite thing to do is to ride the rides at Universal Orlando. What you probably didn't know is that our 8th favorite thing to do is to unnecessarily rank things. Let's get into it.
Coming in at number 10 on our list is Flight of the Hippogriff. Although this is considered a kiddie coaster, we ride this ride pretty much every time we visit the parks, and there are several things that we love about this ride that put it in our top 10. Our favorite thing about Flight of the Hippogriff is the views of Hogwarts Castle. It's absolutely amazing to see the castle up from the top of that ride, and what we love to do is to try to get on the ride when the sun's going down, or if they're playing the castle projection show, get on when the lights are going, and it's absolutely spectacular. Another thing we love about Flight of the Hippogriff is that it's the only place in the Wizarding World of Harry Potter that you can see Buckbeak.
Buckbeak?
And the last thing that we absolutely love about this ride is it's the only place you can get up close and personal with the front of Hagrid's hut. Coming in at number 9 on the list is the High in the Sky Suess Trolley. For those of you that don't know, this is the elevated train system that runs throughout Dr. Seuss Land. On this ride, you'll encounter a narrator that tells a story that incorporates all of the different scenes that you see throughout Seuss Land. But this isn't why it makes our top 10 list. The reason that this ride is on our list is because of the views.
The views from the Seuss Trolley are absolutely stunning, especially at night. But it's not only the views that make this ride great. It is a perfect place to get away from the crowds and to get off those sore feet. And one of our favorite things to do on the Seuss Trolley is to just take in Islands of Adventure. Like we said, it's going to have some of the greatest views in the park, which is why we really love this ride. Coming in at number 8 is Skull Island Reign of Kong. The ride itself it's okay, but what it lacks in the ride, it makes up for in theming and the queue. The queue is honestly one of the reasons that we ride this ride. But the biggest reason is that giant Kong animatronic. It is honestly something to see. Like, we have ridden the ride many times where it's not, hey, do you want to go ride Reign of Kong? It's, hey, do you want to go see the giant Kong animatronic? It is just, it's very lifelike, and it is extremely detailed, and it is our favorite part of this ride.
Another great thing about Kong is the re-rideability. So depending on where you're sitting in the car and which direction you're looking, the show...
like where you're focusing.
Yeah, the show is drastically different. So you can pick up on little details that you haven't noticed before. And this is another reason why this made our list. Coming in at number 7 is Popeye's and Bluto's Bilge Rat Barge. This is a traditional raft ride that you will get wet on.
Yes, so if your goal in life is to get absolutely soaking wet, there are 3 things I suggest you do. Number 1 would be to jump in a pool. 2, you can take a shower. Or number 3, ride this ride.
We've ridden several of these traditional raft rides, and this is one of our absolute favorites. It does have a little bit of an anticlimactic ending, but it's so much fun riding it with all these different people and the interactions, and it's not if you're gonna get wet on this ride, but when you're gonna get wet, and it's so much fun just kind of watching and interacting with everyone else in your boat.
Coming in at number 6 is Jurassic Park River Adventure. I absolutely adore this ride. It is truly one of my favorites.
I also love this ride, but I have a few safety grievances with it that all started when we got stuck.
So I have a few safety concerns as well, and mine have to do with the safety restraint. And how it's just like one size fits all. So it only secures the biggest person in the row. Like, if you can't tell from the camera, like, Anna is a much bigger person than I am. And so when we ride, I just feel like there's too much space between me and that safety bar. But I'm glad that you're in there nice and secure.
It just makes me a little bit nervous. Like I said, I don't think my butt has ever even like come off the seat during that last drop, but every time we ride it, I'm always like wedging myself in just to be safe, but it is so much fun.
And it is one of the best finishes on the ride. Like, that drop is awesome. And I don't know, there's something nostalgic about it. Like, I love the animatronics. I don't want them to fix them. I know you hear people talk about a retheme. I want them to leave it alone. I love the ride as is. Keep painting it. Give it some touch-ups in there. But, like, don't change it, because it's a must ride for us. Like, we love it. I love it. And and it's just, I don't know. Like, every time I think about Islands of Adventure, I think about Jurassic Park River Adventure.
Coming in at number 5 is Dr. Doom's Fearfall. Now, it took me several trips to Universal to work up the courage to finally ride this ride, but once I did, it became one of my absolute favorites. And what I like about this ride over other Fearfall type attractions is that instead of slowly ticking you up to the top and then letting you drop back down to the bottom, Dr. Doom's throws you straight up to the top and then you fall back down, and there's not that awful kind of climactic build up to the top.
Once again, this ride is complemented by its views, especially at night. It has some of the most stunning views you'll see, and they change depending on which side they put you on. There are a few downsides to this ride, a few things that make it a little bit lower in our rankings, and the primary one is that it's very short. We think it would be a much better ride if there were like multiple launches, like 3 or 4 different launches. But as is, it's just one launch, and you sort of float down, and the ride's over. But it does almost always have a very short queue. You're not going to wait very long to ride this ride.
Right.
You can ride it over and over. It's one of those rides that if it's busy, you might see it hit 30 minutes. But couple the short wait with the one of the only rides left that still gets our stomachs.
Yeah.
It had to make our top 5. Coming in at number 4 is Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey. This is the ride that is located inside of Hogwarts Castle.
Arguably, one of the best parts of this ride is the queue.
Which is arguably one of the best queues in the entire world.
If you're a big Harry Potter fan, walking through the castle just tugs on your heartstrings. You get to go through the herbology greenhouse, the Defense Against the Dark Arts classroom, Dumbledore's office. You get to see the Griffin door, the Mirror of Erised. It is just so nostalgic for the movies, and it makes this ride absolutely incredible.
Couple that with an innovative ride system, and you have one of the best rides arguably that was ever created. The ride itself it's aging fine. The only knock that we have against it, and I think the reason it didn't make our top 3 is the last few times that we've ridden it, and I say the last few times, like the last 20 times that we've ridden it, it's a little bit off. Like, the audio's off, the 3D effects, those are the only part that's really aging poorly.
Right.
I think some people have nausea issues.
Right.
But it truly is still one of the best rides in the parks. Like, it's a must-do for any Harry Potter fan. And the theming of the ride, the style of the ride, the 3D, and then the live set is something that I wish they would incorporate into more rides in the future. One of the most appealing aspects of this ride is the fact that you don't have to actually ride it to enjoy it because of that queue that we talked about earlier. You can just do like a castle tour where they'll allow you to walk through the queue, see all of your favorite things and all your favorite people, and then you can exit the attraction. And this type of queue, like, I think it was sort of this ride that has got us to where we are with theme parks. The heavy theming that is Hogsmeade and the Forbidden Journey has changed the industry forever. We will forever start seeing these immensely themed queues, and you gotta love it. Like, it's one of the best parts.
Coming in at number 3 on our list is the Amazing Adventures of Spiderman. This is a ride that just seems to defy age.
So, in case you didn't know, or in case you were unaware, Spider-Man opened in 1999, making it almost as old as Anna. That is just unbelievable, because you would never guess that when you hop on this attraction.
This is always one of our first rides when we get to the park, and for us to rank this above Forbidden Journey as the Harry Potter fans that we are, it speaks volumes about how well Spider-Man has stood up to the test of time. If Forbidden Journey had aged this well, it would be significantly higher in our rankings.
Yeah, seriously, I don't think we can stress it enough. If you were to have, like, if you didn't know the age of this ride, or if you had never been to Islands of Adventure and you got on Spider-Man, you might think it's 4 or 5 years old at the most, which is very, very impressive.
And what puts this ride over the top is the storyline.
Yeah.
This is one of the few 3D rides in the park that has a complete storyline that makes you feel satisfied and happy when you get off of it. And this is why it's number 3 on our list.
Coming in at number 2 on our list is the Incredible Hulk coaster.
This is currently the fastest and most thrilling ride in Islands of Adventure, and it's the only ride that flips you upside down. We love the Incredible Hulk, and it is such a thrill.
So it can be a little rough. I think that is the chief complaint with it. Some people think it is slightly rough with your neck. We both experience like a gray out every once in a while when we ride it, but we can't stop ourselves. We love riding it. Honestly, if we don't rush to Hagrid's, this is our coffee in the mornings. Like, we don't go to Starbucks. We get on the Hulk to wake us up. And something that's probably not talked about much, and something that I know is happening to you right now, as I'm talking about this, if you have ridden the Hulk, you're hearing that music as we speak. Like,
dun, 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 dun.
You were hearing it before she started that. Like, it sticks in your head. Like, when we leave the parks, we'll be on the plane and it's just like, dun, dun. Like, you just can't help it. And so music is extremely important to this ride. On top, like, we have ridden it a couple of times when the music wasn't playing, and it's not the same ride. It honestly wasn't the same.
Another thing about Hulk is that the ride changes drastically based on what row you're in. Some rides are, slightly different depending on where you're sitting.
And I would say, like, some of the middle rows aren't drastically different.
Right.
But, yeah, like the front and the back row, it's night and day.
They are completely different rides. So if you haven't experienced both like the front and the back, as well as somewhere in the middle, definitely make sure that you get one of those seats, or just ride it until you eventually do.
You can request on the Hulk. You can request the front row, and I think you can request any row for that matter. We've requested row 8, which is the back row. They've put us there as well. It really, like, I can't express how vastly different those two things are.
Coming in at number 1 on our list is Hagrid's Motorbike Adventure. This is the newest and one of the most innovative rides in the park.
So, like I talked about, Forbidden Journey changed the queue game, or however you want to say it. Like, it changed the way that people are going to do, and theme parks are going to do, queues. Hagrid's has done the same for roller coasters. No longer are people going to be satisfied with just having a great or a good roller coaster. Theming is going to have to be a big part of that. And what's exciting is this is the beginning. Like, we have seen the beginning of this, and we are going to see it going forward with roller coasters. I just think you're going to start seeing a more harmonious, like, joining of theming and ride, and that's extremely exciting to us.
Hagrid's brings to life such a magical storyline, and you get to meet so many of the different characters that you fall in love with throughout the series, like some of the magical creatures. You see Fluffy, the flying car, the Minotaurs, there's Devil's Snare, and on top of that, the features of the roller coaster just push it over the top. The launches are absolutely incredible, and the drop when you're in the Forbidden Forest is unlike anything we've ever seen.
Yeah, and it's definitely number one, and I don't necessarily think it's close. And it's number one because of the theming and the ride being harmonious, like I talked about earlier. With that being said, theming aside, we've talked to a lot of people who are not Harry Potter fans or who have never really even read the books or seen any of the movies.
Yeah.
And they love the ride. And that's because even without the Harry Potter facade, this would probably still be the best roller coaster in Islands of Adventure.
And another awesome thing about this ride is it is different depending on whether you're on the motorbike or in the sidecar. My personal favorite is the motorbike because it feels like you're actually riding a bike.
It's extremely smooth. The rules are, you're on the motorbike, you act like you're riding a motorcycle. If you're in the sidecar, hands up, hands up. That's all there is. We both loved Dueling Dragons or the Dragon Challenge, and for something to come in its place and truly just be better than what was there before, because we thought that was going to be very hard.
Yeah.
That's impressive, and we are super, like I've said, we are super excited to see where roller coasters go because of what is Hagrid's. Alright guys, that wraps up today's video. Leave us a comment in the comment section and tell us what your 8th favorite thing in the world is to do.
If you enjoyed this video, give us a thumbs up. You can hit that subscribe button and turn on that bell notification so you get an alert every time we post a new video.
Thanks for watching. It's way back here.